Hello guys, today I'm gonna be making a video, and if you play Minecraft, you know there are these weird structures. There are like these weird structures like desert temples, ruined portals, jungle temples, and all that stuff. And today I'm gonna be explaining uh, explaining how they got there, and yeah, and if I'm not right, then it's okay because this is just a theory that I thought about on my own. So yeah, uh, so first of all, this story begins in a normal Minecraft world where there was a king in a beautiful kingdom, like in like a castle. I didn't let's just say this is the castle. Okay, it could be like millions of these pictures of castles, but I just picked a random one. So he lived in an amazing kingdom with a castle and with his son, which is like a prince. Okay, and one one day he was like trying to figure out a way to like find another dimension or something. So he's decided to work in like the castle for like any like sort of new block to so they could like go to another dimension. And then he finally made this one block, and it's called obsidian. Okay, you all know obsidian. And when he's what he's about to create with the obsidian is gonna change this whole story, the whole point of this story. And yeah, so you all know you use obsidian to make another portal like this. And then that's what he did. He made a portal, and then he lit it up with flint and steel, and then it worked. And they created these things, like these safety places, since the nether is like a very deadly, dangerous and deadly place. So they made these structures so they could be safe, like the bastions and the fortresses. And the bastion and fortresses, they put their loot inside of it, like their diamonds and their like things they had on them, so they could like transport things from the overworld to the nether. And then they're so they didn't have to carry that much stuff in their inventory. They put this stuff in the nether fortress and the bastion. And one day, so the princess duty is to is to so basically there's no life in the nether, basically, except for zombie piglins. You all know that. But what they did was an awful mistake here. They brought a pig in the nether, and then they kept a little pen inside of the bastion for the pigs, and they fed them netherwort, and then they soon became a zombie pigman. And the prince's duty, the king's son's duty, is to go in the pen and kill the pigs for food and give it to the like people exploring the nether and stuff. And then when the son came to the pen, he saw this this pig. Instead of a normal pig like this, he saw this, and he was curious if it still dropped pork chops, so they decided to kill one of them, and then it dropped rotten flesh. And then the others started hitting him, so he started running for his life. And then when he reached the fortress and he was about to go in, the only person that saw him die to the pigmen, were his father, which was like the king. And they were like in the fortress, like building more and more bridges so they can access different places faster. But Then, when he died, he dropped his skull on the floor, a skeleton skull on the floor. And then basically, it was so you so the Nether is like a pretty terrible place. It's known for like its evilness, and the and then the netherrack on the floor, and then the skull that's on the floor of the netherrack, it turned into a wither skeleton skull because because I actually have no idea, but I cannot find the word for this. But for some reason, the normal skull turned into a wither skeleton skull. And then since the father watched him die, he wanted to save him. So then he made a three, actually a four. He made he got the souls. He got the soul sand, which is made out of souls. So he thought he could use that to bring back his son. And then he decided to make a shape of a human, one block, like he puts one block and then 3 blocks above it, with the like left and the right blocks are like the hands, the middle part, the upper middle, and the lower middle was like the body, and the lower one was like the legs. And then he put one skull, and then nothing happened. So he decided to get another one. And then when he placed it, nothing happens. And then the third skull, what he's about to figure out is the one and only, the second strongest mob besides the warden, as the warden's like the strongest mob. The second one we all know is the wither. We all use it. We always kill it if we want to get the beacon, unless we use console commands or something. But let's be honest, if you're making a video and you wanna do it legit, the only way to do it that is by killing the wither. So like yeah, unless you're doing like a mods, then you could like get it from somewhere. Anyways, when the wither was created, the father thought he got his son back, and then when he was trying to speak to it or something, it just suddenly started throwing fireballs at him or something, like the heads of it from its like mouth, and then it kept exploding. So then the father decided to run away, but then he kept shooting fireballs at his like father and all the civilians, and then like thousands of lives were like lost, and the kingdom was like destroyed. And then the remaining villagers, they decided to run away. And before all of this happened, uh, as you all know, this is about the structures. And first of all, before like the wither was happened, or how when he before he made obsidian, the king, the first day as the king, elected as the king, he wanted to make these structures in every single biome. That's why you see a jungle temple in the jungle, you see desert temples in the desert, you see and you see other structures that belong in like normal temple, in normal like biomes. Anyway, there's also nether portals made, but we'll be getting to that later. Anyways, when the wither was created, it killed so much people and then destroyed the kingdom, and then the king and the left of his like fellow civilians, they went underground and they made this thing called a stronghold. And the king decided to work his magic once more and to make this one block, y'all know the end frame. And the end frame, he decided to make a portal with it, and then he lit the portal up with ender eyes when the wither suddenly came out of nowhere, and then they decided to jump in, and then when they got to the other side, well, let's just say one of them died to the ender dragon. While when they were trying to bridge away from the island, the end island, the ender dragon knocked one of them into the void. But then the others and the king, they decided to bridge even further, and they found a, a, like millions of islands with only one source of of like food, and it was called chorus food. And when you eat it, you'd always teleport around. But at least they wouldn't starve to death. So that was their food source. And then with the blocks at the end, they made these things called end cities, and the things they had left, they put it inside of the end cities, and they also made an end ship to put some of their like really good valuables. That's why you see like pretty good valuables in there, because like they thought that no one would. It's pretty hard to reach the end ship since it's like not connected to anything. It's just in the sky, right next to the end city. And anyways, uh, they they prepared to battle the Ender Dragon so they could go back and kill the Wither, since they did a lot of like searching and stuff, and then they became really really strong, and then they got the courage finally to fight, and with their newfound resource of food, chorus food, they ate one last chorus fruit before they were to fight the Ender Dragon and kill the Wither on the other side of the portal. But then, when they ate their last chorus fruit, they turned into the mob we all know and kind of hate and love, because we use their eyes as teleportation. But anyways, you must know what I mean. If not, then I'll just say it to be clear. The Enderman. They turned into the Enderman because of how much chorus fruit they've been eating. They don't even know where that came from. They just knew it. They wouldn't starve to death with it. So they started to eat it over and over again. And then they turned into the Enderman. And then they forgot everything of what they achieved. And the king even forgot about the kingdom. And they just roam around in all the islands. And then they got the ability to teleport since they ate so much chorus fruit. And yes, that's where the story ends. The king and the other civilians trapped in the end, and with their minds erased, nothing nothing could save them, because you wouldn't know that, and not and maybe that wouldn't even be true, because this is just a theory. But if it is true, then IDK. But no one would know that since this is just a theory. But who knows? It could be true. And while the Wither was trying to look for the kings, he decided to destroy all the like and portals and and actually no, not end portals, nether portals, and he decided to destroy like the nether portal, so no one could like go back to the like nether. Actually, no, not the Wither. The Wither was not the one who destroyed it. The citizens were, because some of the citizens survived. And then when the Wither decided to go underground, the villagers, which aka civilians, they made their own village, and they lived happily ever after. And they decided to forget about what happened to their old king. And to this day, they just won't think about it. If not, like I said, this could not be true. It's just a theory. But anyways, guys, I hope you like my storytelling. It could be true. It could be not. It's a really nice story. Sometimes I stuttered in this story, like just now. But I stuttered a lot in this story. So like yeah, but please don't make fun of that. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed the story. As always, peace.